quiet here in Milwaukee, but the roof open. It's game 2, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Good afternoon. So glad you can join us here from inside Miller Park. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Tom Verducci. And Tom, so far this season, this Cardinals ball club, 70 wins, by far the most in baseball. This is setting up to be a very historic season in St. Louis, especially in terms of pitching.
Well, in terms of pitching, Cardinal fans have nothing to complain about. And I mean nothing, because that's what they've allowed in their last 27 innings coming into this game. The team ERA, 2.60. That's the lowest in 43 years. And this guy, Jaime Garcia, today's starting pitcher, he's healthy for the first time in 4 or 5 years. Strike throwing, ground ball throwing machine.
Meanwhile, for the Brewers, this is a season in transition, no doubt, in Milwaukee. A number of moves at the deadline. But one thing that has stayed the same, Ryan Braun, 19 home runs. That matches his mark from last year, and he's closing in on the franchise record, Robin Yount.
Just 2 away. Robin with 251 home runs. But it's a different lineup around Ryan Braun. With all the trades here, really has lost a lot of protection in this lineup. And you think the Cardinals don't know how to pitch to this guy? He has not hit a home run against St. Louis in his last 29 games against Cardinal pitching.
So we'll see what he can do here today against against Garcia, as we take a look now at the St. Louis Cardinals starting lineup as penciled in by Mike Matheny. Matt Carpenter back at the leadoff spot at third base for the Cardinals, and it's Colton Wong at second base. Johnny Peralta, 16 home runs, a lot for his shortstop. He bats third. Jason Hayward, a Brave until this season in right field. Then Grutchik, who has had some massive power so far this year. Molina, Reynolds, Stephen Piscotty, the former first-round draft pick out of Stanford. And then it is Jaime Garcia. I'll take a look at what's going on the bench for the Cardinals. Brandon Moss coming over from Cleveland. And also in terms of right-handed hitters, Peter Borges, the speedster, Cosma, and Cruz as well. Tom, having a look now at the Mobile One pitcher profile, we take a look at Willie Peralta.
Well, he's got an electric fastball, and his real out pitch is a slider. The one concern, really doesn't have an off-speed pitch to neutralize left-handed hitters. 3 of the top 4 in the Cardinal lineup, left-handers. That's going to be the key for Willie Peralta.
And the defense behind Peralta here today in Game 2. Lucroy, an all-star season ago behind home plate. Rogers and Herrera on the right side. Segura, an all-star 2 years ago. Perez on the hot corner. The outfield looking a little bit different these days. Davis, a lot of time with the disabled list this season, but back Peterson, and then, of course, Braun in right field. Take a look at the standings of the National League Central. The Cardinals right now, a 6-game cushion over the Pirates. Then you got the Cubs and 2 teams certainly in transition at the bottom, the Reds and the Brewers. But this National League Central is looking like a division that will be awfully formidable for years to come.
Wouldn't be surprised to see 3 playoff teams out of this division this year.
So here is Peralta facing Matt Carpenter to begin things. His 9th game back at the leadoff spot for the Cardinals, and thriving. And as Mike Matheny told us, Tom, he has spent some time elsewhere. In fact, the majority of the season not batting leadoff, but as Matheny said, it just kind of feels right having Carpenter at the top.
Yeah, when he can hit like Matt Carpenter does deep into counts, as you can see, it's a great thing for a leadoff hitter to see as many pitches as possible early. And right now, Willie Peralta, contradicting what he told me yesterday, he said, my key, I need to get ahead of Cardinal hitters.
Behind 2-0. Peralta, 26 years old, out of the Dominican Republic, now in his 4th season. He's lost 2 months this year on the disabled list with a left oblique injury. This is the first time that he was on the DL since having Tommy John back in 2007. And he evens it up 2-2 on Carpenter.
And that's his best pitch, the 2-seam fastball with the run right there.
Now the count pushes full. Peralta making his 3rd start since coming off the disabled list. And his 3rd overall this season against St. Louis. Both coming back in April, so it's been a while since he's seen the Cardinals. Lofted left center. Peterson running out of room. Peterson can't get it. It's gone. Leadoff home run, Matt Carpenter, and he continues to cement himself back at the top of the order.
Well, again, this is the trouble with Peralta. Nothing to slow up left-handed hitters. Has a changeup, doesn't have confidence in it. And that was 6 consecutive fastballs to Matt Carpenter. And at 3-2, he's throwing a fastball in the zone. Carpenter was ready for it. Don't cool him off.
That's right. His 16th this year and his 6th home run the last 9 games when he's been leading off. Wong to center field. Peterson some space this time for out number 1. We'll take another look at that leadoff home run from Carpenter.
We talked about the 2-seamer being his best pitch. That's a 4-seamer up in the zone. Again, a function of the count. 3-2. Felt like he needed to throw a strike to the leadoff hitter and left it up.
Just got over. That's an impressive homer. Peralta, a skimmer to Herrera. And there's out number 2 quickly.
Willie Peralta, one of the hardest throwing right-handers in the game. But it boggles the mind to think that the 4-seamer and 2-seamer hitters are hitting .331 against it. You see the Brewers have added to a stat they can't be proud of. Look at the huge difference between first and second place for most home runs allowed.
That's a huge gap. And this ballpark has seen plenty of home runs this season, even though the Brewers don't necessarily hit a whole lot of home runs. No other National League ballpark this season has surrendered more homers than Miller Park. Only 2 ballparks in the big leagues that have seen more balls leave the fence are in Toronto and Baltimore. Long throw, Segura is able to get Hayward. So 3 retired after Matt Carpenter goes deep the opposite way to get things going in this one today. And the Cardinals have an early 1-0 lead as Peterson just could not quite get to it. Has given the Cardinals an early 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first inning. We'll take a look at the Brewers starting lineup. They'll begin things with their shortstop, Gene Segura. Lucroy does the catching, then Ryan Braun with 19 homers in right field. Davis, Rogers, and then Shane Peterson, who's really impressed lately. Herrera at second base, Perez on the hot corner, and then Peralta, the pitcher, batting ninth. Facing Jaime Garcia, 29 years old. Out of Mexico, went to high school, though, in far South Texas. Mission, Texas. And we take a look at what we might see off the bench. Adam Lynn does not face lefties all that often. Scooter Gennett as well, so they are available later. Quickly 0-2. And Tom, how about we take a look at the Mobile One pitcher profile? Jaime Garcia.
Well, he's got a medical file that would make War and Peace look like a novella. Healthy now, though, and the big key is he's got the real good velocity and sink on that sinker. Not Peralta velocity, but better movement and command.
On 0-2, a flare that dumps in front of Hayward. So Segura behind the count, a leadoff single. You can see only his 10th start this season, as he's been on the disabled list twice. Began the year on the DL, then had to go back because of a groin strain. But you can see the opponent average there, Tom. Guys just can't square him up all that well.
Yeah, forget the one loss record. Been a big victim of some lack of run support, but yeah, that's a telltale sign. And the confidence, well, we talked to him yesterday, and he really is healthy for the first time in 4 or 5 years, and he's feeling good.
I think you bring up a good point in the run support. His first 9 starts, the Cardinals have combined to score 20 runs behind him. So not much at all. There is Lucroy with Segura at first base. Lucroy happy to spend a pretty good chunk of this season on the disabled list with a broken big toe.
Now you see the way they defend him. The second baseman Wong actually shades towards second, and the center fielder Grichuk shades towards the right center field gap. He's going to hit when he's on the majority of his balls up the middle in that direction. And Aaron, I think that's one of the things that has hurt him is all the advanced scouting that we have, and he's hitting balls hard that are turned into outs. When he hits the ball up the middle, he's hitting 256. I don't know of anybody in baseball with a batting average on balls in play that low on balls up the middle.
That's incredible.
I mean, you grow up. What does everybody tell you? Hit the ball up the middle, right? That's where you get your hits. Not for him.
And Lucroy, an all-star last year, a fantastic season. At just over 300, he led baseball in doubles with 53. Was in the MVP discussion. Of course, went to Kershaw, but Lucroy finished 4th. He's got Segura at first.
One thing he does really well in this situation with that hole on the right side, if Garcia is going to pitch him with that either changeup or sinker down and away, LaCroix very good about not doing too much with it, just kind of shooting it through that gap over there. And here is the sinker down and away.
The opposite way and out of play. You know, Tom, it's topical since the Cardinals are involved. You talk about hitting up the middle. Stan Musial, one of the greatest hitters of all time, who was once asked where he liked to hit the ball, and he said, I try not to go up the middle because that's where the best fielders are, which was an interesting way of looking at things from a guy who's a prolific hitter, one of the best of all time. But you don't see many subscribing to that theory.
No, you know, I think about Brian McCann of the Yankees. His dad, as a coach, really tutored his hitting throughout his youth and even to this day. And he taught him hit the ball up the middle, and now they shift on him. They're outs.
Up the middle. Wong, a short flip on to first base. Plenty of time for the double play. Now, Tom, how about we take a look at your Ford keys to the game this afternoon?
Well, you know, we are in America's Dairyland, right?
Oh, there's no doubt.
Okay, so we're going to hammer that theme with the keys to the game. The Cardinals feast on the cheddar, the fastball of Willie Peralta. We've seen him do that already. And I'm a little late with this one. Brewers milk each at bat.
I see what you did there.
You know, this is the most aggressive swinging team in the National League. And Jaime Garcia, the fewest pitches per inning in the National League. I think they have to grind out at bats a little more than they're accustomed to doing.
2 outs, nobody on. Here is Braun, sitting on 19 homers. First pitch out of play. Let's take a look at the defense behind Jaime Garcia this afternoon. Molina does the catching, 7 Gold Gloves. Reynolds, his first year in St. Louis. Up the middle, Wong and Peralta. Carpenter, the former second baseman, at third base. And then in left field, Piscotty. Grichuk can cover all kinds of ground in center. Hayward a couple of Gold Gloves in right.
That was a good shot of the defense where you see Grichuk again shaded towards right center field on Ryan Braun. Ryan told me, years ago, I'm hitting doubles in the gap. The last couple of years, those are flyouts.
Breaks this to Peralta. Long toss, plenty of time, and the side retired in order despite a leadoff single by Segura. We're through one inning here from Miller Park. The Cardinals a 1-0 lead. Randall Grichuk will lead things off for the Cardinals in the top of the second. 1-0 St. Louis, an early lead thanks to Matt Carpenter's leadoff home run. And last night, Tom Grichuk takes a pitch that's almost in the other batter's box with 2 on.
I mean, my jaw dropped on this. I mean, just to square it up on that pitch, I think it was a ball out of the zone. And for the ball to carry out easily opposite field. I mean, he just has very short stroke to the baseball and actually an abbreviated follow through as well. That's easy power.
That was his 7th home run in only 70 at-bats since the All-Star break. And seeing Mike Matheny's eyes line up the way that they do when talking about Grichuk and his pop, it's pretty special.
Really, the one thing that needs to come is plate discipline. Good job there staying off that 1-2 sinker out of the zone. Does have a tendency to chase. You can work on that, but that power, that's a gift.
Grichuk is averaging a strikeout every 3 at-bats. And they really love what he can do in the outfield as well.
You know, when I first saw him, I actually thought his skill set reminded me of Ryan Braun. The guy who runs fast, throws well, defends well, and has more power than you think.
Still 2-2. Now more power than you think because he's listed at 6'1", 195 pounds. And Matheny was talking about the first spring training when he came over from Anaheim and the deal for David Freese, and just the sound that the ball made off of his bat was just different. Segura deep backhand off balance, and he's out. Rogers keeps his foot on the bag. That's a fine play for round number 1.
Gene Segura already in this game showing off the range. Been a disappointing year at the plate for him. Really a little bit of a regression offensively. But watch the way he circles the baseball, gets himself turned around just enough. That's a nice pick by Rogers over there on the long hop.
That play took 2, and Perez and Rogers combined for out number 1. That brings in Yadier Molina. You kind of feel like there's a Stan Musial statue outside right now, don't you, Tom? There's a lot of Cardinal red, a lot of cheers for Molina as he dug in, as we are here in Miller Park in Milwaukee.
Otherwise known as Busch Stadium North today.
That's right.
My goodness, look at all the red.
They're making some noise.
They travel well, as they say in college football, right?
That's right. They certainly do here, apparently. Now, for those who maybe are seeing Molina for the first or even second time this year compared to when they last saw him last season, he's lost 40 pounds. Reported to spring training far underweight intentionally from what he was a season ago. But it's pretty striking the weight loss that Molina has gone through. And look at his numbers this year, still leading all major league catchers and hits, still getting it done behind home plate, but definitely looks different.
Absolutely. He showed up, and the equipment manager went through 4 different sizes of pants before they found one that fit him. I think he has sacrificed a little bit of power, but no question about his durability.
Only 2 home runs this year for Molina. Tapper over Peralta on a first and 10. Now the Cardinals entered today on a 3-game winning streak. They are 70-39. They are the first team in baseball time, Tom, with 70 wins this season, and we can see the last handful of teams who have reached 70 wins first.
You know, those 2011 Phillies, the last team to win 100 games. It's the first time we've gone 3 straight years since we've had the 162 game schedule without a 100-win team. The Cardinals may finally be a super team. It's been a long time.
That could happen this year. Reynolds on the first pitch. Smoke to left field. Off the base of the wall. Reynolds extra bases with 2 outs. And he'll check in with a double. A Brewer from last year.
And once again, the fastball. There's the 4-seamer. Mark Reynolds, first pitch, fastball. Thank you very much.
For Reynolds, only his 3rd extra base hit since the All-Star break. That clears the way for Piscotty with 2 outs. Former first-round draft pick out of Stanford. Mike Matheny really likes his baseball IQ.
Probably got a good regular IQ as
it
well.
Probably
Stanford,
does.
right?
You would think so. And in this case, it certainly translates to the diamond.
And I like the story he told from last night's game where it was a sinking line drive with 2 outs by the number 8 hitter. Piscotty thought about leaving his feet to make an effort, but then remembered the pitcher was on deck. Smart play. They got out of the inning.
The opposite way, dropping in for a base hit. Reynolds rounding 3rd. It's 2-0 Cardinals. Piscotty, a run batted in.
And that just breaks a pitcher's heart. The number 8 hitter, 2 outs, pitcher on deck, first base open. You make a good pitch with the fastball in on the hands. You get weak contact. And another run goes up on the board. Just unlucky right here. Made the pitch he wanted. Did not get the result he wanted. Trying to go in, and he did.
Garcia, the pitcher, taking ball 1.
You know, I've always thought that number 8 hole in the National League is the worst spot for a young hitter to hit in. It's very difficult to understand when pitchers are going at you and when they're pitching around you. Scotty looks like a veteran on that, taking advantage of a good pitch, getting himself a knock and an RBI.
He's really made a nice early impression in St. Louis, making his debut not long ago. 2-1 on Garcia. Peralta coming off a really rough start. His last time out, did not escape the 4th inning. Gave up 6 runs on 8 hits. Routine ground ball to Herrera. And that'll do it for the Cardinals. Second, a run in. Piscotty, the RBI single, brings in Reynolds. It's 2-0 Cardinals. Has given the Cardinals a 2-0 lead. Well, hope you can join us next Saturday. It's another MLB on Fox Sports 1 doubleheader filled with playoff implications as the wild card leading Angels battle the AL Central leading Royals, followed by the Nationals taking on the Giants as both teams look to improve their playoff chances. Coverage begins next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Jaime Garcia back on the mound to begin things in the bottom of the second. He'll face Chris Davis, left fielder for the Brewers. Garcia a 1-2-3 first, despite a leadoff single, had a double play turned behind him. Davis has not had great success this year against lefties, batting just .150. And for a team that entered today 24 games outside of first place in the Central, Davis seems to be one of those guys that Craig Counsell and the Brewers front office trying to see where he might fit into their future.
Well, he's like a little mini version of Grichuk in that he does have really good power. Not a big guy, but a strong guy. Baffling to hear about his numbers against left-handed pitching. Only 8 hits all year.
2-2.
And you can see how the Cardinals infield defends Davis. Gives you an idea with the left-hander Garcia on the mound, where Peralta, Carpenter, they can almost shake hands on that left side.
And the count pushes full.
And there you go. I mean, that's not a guy who's going to hit the ball up the middle. Just think, go ahead and roll over on that changeup all you want. You got two guys right there.
A changeup has been such a good pitch for Garcia. To right-handed hitters. Garcia has spent his entire career with St. Louis. And the Brewers a very familiar opponent as a result. Facing him for the second time this season. Saw him back on June 1st at Busch Stadium. Pitched very well. Only 1 run over 7 innings. Although he was saddled with the loss. A leadoff walk. Davis takes first. And here you can see Garcia's numbers against the Brew Crew. I've seen him a lot. Second straight inning, the leadoff man reaches for the Brewers. And it brings in Jason Rogers, Milwaukee first baseman.
It's a pretty good story. A 32nd round pick out of Columbus State in Georgia.
Just recently recalled from AAA. And down goes the home plate umpire. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief. And he might need some tending to.
There's no question about that. Really nothing an umpire can do. You hope the catcher is able to shield you as much as possible. Well, it's interesting. Umpires will set up on the inside part of the plate. The reason they don't set up above the catcher is to protect them from concussions. Medical people in Major League Baseball have figured out that they're more at risk of concussions when they're set up. You see them set up on the inside. Not sure if that foul ball hit Molina's glove at all. I hit his elbow and then changed directions. So you have ground, elbow, looks like left knee. No, it didn't. Obviously, he's got shin guards underneath there, but that hit him in a unprotected area.
Now, Hirschbeck's been around a long time, since the mid-'80s. Good to see him up on his feet. He was one of the umpires in the recent Red Sox Cardinals World Series back in 2013. Three All-Star games he's been an umpire at. 4 World Series overall. So in other words, might not be the first time for Hirschbeck. He's looking like he's wearing this one pretty well.
A lot of years, a lot of pitches, a lot of foul balls. See his fellow umpires not only concerned about him, but buying a little bit of time for him. Good to see the smiles.
That is good. Tom, that was interesting. Explain what you were talking about with umpires setting up and concussions once again.
Yeah, well, back in the old days, of course, the old American League umpires would have those big balloon chest protectors, and they can get their head right above the catcher. But the highest velocity of foul balls are going to be the ones that come off the top of the bat above the catcher's head. And the medical people with MLB figured out that if you do set up higher, your head is above the catcher's head, you're more at risk of concussions. So that's why they have the umpires set up on the inside of the plate. Now, it does create difficulty to see that pitch down and away. And I think any umpire, if he's being honest with you, will tell you that's the most difficult to get a real good look at, because you are set up inside, especially if you have a really big catcher behind the plate like a Matt Wieters. But it really is to set up inside as much for protection as anything else.
Imagine trying to see that with a guy like Salvador Perez. It's nothing but a wall.
And he's back there every day.
You're right.
If you're doing a Kansas City game, you got a 99% chance that Sal is going to be behind the plate.
Ball and 2 strikes to Rogers.
By the way, Columbus State is a Division II team in that Peach Belt Conference.
Of course.
Of course.
And he gets him swinging. Rogers, the first strikeout victim today from Jaime Garcia.
Just a nasty changeup here, a downward bite to it. He's not going to throw that to left-handed hitters, but that's a good feature 2-strike pitch to right-handers for Jaime Garcia.
Garcia's last start against the Rockies, 5 innings, a run, only 2 hits. Did walk 4. Now facing Shane Peterson.
You know, left-handers actually hit a little bit higher off Garcia than do right-handers, and to me it's because of the changeup. I mean, that is a real weapon. You just saw it right there, and he's just not comfortable throwing it to left-handed hitters.
And for as long as Garcia has been around, if he's not comfortable throwing it to him now, it doesn't seem like that would be something in the future. Is that fair?
Probably not. You know, he will show curveball, especially early in a count, to left-handed hitters. He doesn't throw much to right-handed hitters. Make no question, his bread and butter is that tremendous sinker. The last couple of years when he wasn't healthy, it was sitting around 89. Now it's back up to 91, maybe even 92.
Up the middle. Room service up to Peralta, and another double play. It's the second in as many innings. Turn behind Garcia, and it gets Garcia and the Cardinals out of the second. We go to the third. Cardinals have the lead. And it's to the top of the order with Matt Carpenter. Carpenter connected on his 4th leadoff home run of the season to begin the ball game today. Peralta has faced the Cardinals more than any other opponent in his career, making his 12th career start against St. Louis here today. And He has overall not fared all that well against St. Louis. An ERA over 4.40, and the Cardinals hitting him at a clip of about 2.80.
Yeah, and again, you can see what's missing is command of the fastball. Nothing wrong with velocity. Slider right here.
Evens it up 2-2.
You saw him miss twice into Matt Carpenter. Good idea, use both sides of the plate, but needs a little better execution on location. Especially this guy. He is not going to swing at a pitch out of the zone. I mean, we might as well just start the count at 3-2 every time he steps into the batter's box.
It was a 3-2 pitch that Carpenter homered out to left center to begin the day. Davis comes in, medium depth. Out number 1.
Nice job by Peralta right there. The 3-2 slider. That's his best pitch for me. I mean, I don't care what the count is, and he told me he'll throw it any count, any time. And when he's on, he can throw that for a strike at will.
Now, opponents this year batting well beneath 200 against that slider. Wong hits it on the screws, but it's snared there by Herrera. Wong 0 for 2. So Wong now 3 for his last 25, although hit that one hard enough to deserve a hit. 2 outs, and that'll bring in Peralta. Cardinals 7-3 so far this year against the Brewers. 0-2. Glad to have you with us here from beautiful Miller Park in Milwaukee. It's game 2. The Cardinals and the Brewers, Aaron Goldsmith, Tom Verducci, and the Cardinals getting on the board early here today. It was Matt Carpenter, a leadoff home run in the first. And then Piscotty, an RBI single in the second. So glad to have all of you joining us from the Pirates and Dodgers game. As we take a look at our game summary from early on here today. Garcia, a couple of double play balls turned behind him. Carpenter, that home run, his 16th of the season, and his 4th to lead off a game this year.
And now 29 consecutive scoreless innings by Cardinal pitching.
It has been remarkable, the pitching this year, and especially with that streak you just mentioned. This is a pitching staff that has been absolutely historic. To left center. Davis can get there, gliding to his left. Peralta out, number 3. It's 3 up, 3 down. The first 1-2 inning of the day. since 1969, and the Cardinals knocking on the door. And this are historic numbers. You see the A's in 72, the Orioles in 72 as well. And what this rotation and this bullpen has put together for Mike Matheny, it has been a run prevention team which has led to 70 wins. Michael Wacha, Carlos Martinez, two frontline starters.
There's the key for me right there. And I'll give you a reason why. When there's nobody on base, and actually we've seen this already in today's game, Cardinals pitching is actually below average.
Through the left side. Third straight leadoff man to reach for the Brewers.
And we'll have this theory tested again for a third time. Hitters are hitting .257 against Cardinal pitching with the bases empty. That's 12th in a 15-team league. As soon as you put somebody on base and that guy takes command, his ability to call the right pitch for the pitchers to have full confidence in what he calls. Runners in scoring position 194. That's obviously the best in the league. There's the breaking ball hung up a little bit. Runners on base 213. That's the best in the league. So below average with bases empty, but when you need to make a pitch, the most important points of a game, what most defines run prevention, making pitches with runners on base, nobody better than the Cardinals.
Carpenter charging down to second. They'll get the lead man there. It still counts the out. Long upset that he dropped it. What a play by Carpenter.
An outstanding athletic play. Almost like a quarterback rolling out, throwing across the field. Watching the nice pick, get turned around, and the strong throw.
Lost it on the transfer. Perez aboard at first. 1 out. Here is Peralta, the pitcher.
Now that's a case where the whole world knows you're bunting. Square around early. You know, he's almost trying to disguise that by getting the barrel out there late, and he didn't get it out there far enough. Get it out there with the barrel pointed at the second baseman. You can't defend a well-executed bunt. It doesn't matter if everybody knows you're bunting. Much better.
He's listening.
I'll send him my bill.
1-1.
Greg Maddux was the best. I mean, pitcher would hardly even be set. That's Peralta's doing this right now, and Maddux would be in that position.
1 out, 1 on, trying to give himself up. And now 2 strikes against him.
Again, though, he's not establishing the angle with the bat. You got the tip of the bat pointed to your own dugout. There's no way the ball's going to be fair. And yes, he's going to try again, Aaron. He's 0 for 17 this year.
Might as well. Even with 2 strikes.
3 for a quarter. Here you go.
Swing it away. Now, whether it's bunting for a base hit or giving yourself up, it seems as though the bunt has become somewhat of a lost art in this game.
Well, it has, because now especially you have a lot of pitchers who grow up being a pitcher from the time they're 10 years old. They don't even bat in high school or junior high school.
Another healthy hack. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
I mean, it was a nice hack, but I got to tell you, I'm still bunting here. This guy's career batting average is .081. Well, what are the odds? 2 strikes on Jaime Garcia. You're going to get a hit. I think there's a much better chance that you can get a bunt down and get a base hit.
Ed Cedar probably is not telling Peralta his career average right now. But they are talking a little bit of shop.
And of course, you've already seen with Garcia the ability to get the double play grounder.
I've seen it twice. With 2 strikes against him, that'll be it. Peralta done.
Well, I'll see it tomorrow afternoon early for bunting practice. Because that's just a matter of execution, just having poor fundamentals. And as a pitcher, you have to work on that. Watch how the barrel is behind the plate. There's no way that ball has any chance of landing in fair territory. Well, that's part of your game. You know, you're a National League pitcher. You better work on that. You're fielding, you're an infielder after you throw the ball, and you're a hitter every 9 spots.
That goes down as a second strikeout for Garcia. Now facing Segura. That time using the curveball. That's a pitch that Garcia doesn't use all that often, but when he does, it's been very effective for him.
Especially to right-handers, doesn't throw it much at all. Well, that's a good get it over first pitch strike. Probably wasn't counting on Segura swinging at it, but Segura, he starts swinging when he wakes up in the morning.
He represents the tying run. Chopper Peralta's way. Long throw to first to stretch and the out. Perez left stranded and we're off to the 4th. Cardinals have the lead. Every game, visit MLB.com/tickets today. Jason Hayward leads off the Cardinals' 4th. He looks at a first pitch strike from Willie Peralta. Hayward now in his 6th full season. It's his first with the Cardinals, 5 years in Atlanta. And this just stays fair. And an easy play there for Rogers. Quick out number 1 for Peralta, now facing Randall Grichuk. We talked earlier about the power of Grichuk. 41 extra base hits for Grichuk this season, leading all major league rookies. So much talk this year, Tom. Chris Bryant, the Cubs, Jock Peterson, the Dodgers, and for good reason. He now has as many homers as Bryant. He has as many runs batted in as Peterson.
It's amazing. He's got a better OPS in the major leagues than he ever had in the minor leagues. We talked about his size. I think he's actually gotten bigger in the last 2 years with St. Louis. In fact, John Mabry, the hitting coach, remarked about him adding his man muscles. Guy who always had power, but he's definitely thickened out.
Those come in handy in this line of work. See Mabry there.
See Randall with that stance where he kind of lays the bat down. That was something that gradually occurred.
And Grichuk caught looking. That's been the Achilles heel, the strikeouts. He's 0 for 2. First punch out today.
A very well located slider right here. A nice job by LaCroix presenting that pitch.
First strikeout for Peralta. 2 outs for Molina. You think about the wear and the tear of being a catcher for as long as Molina has been and still going. 25th all time in Major League history in innings caught. Easy play for Herrera at second base. And it's a 1-2-3 inning once again. Only 8 pitches from Peralta to get 3 outs. A 2-0 lead. And Tom, it's interesting to look at Jaime Garcia over the course of his career and how his delivery has evolved.
Well, back in 2011, remember those old Iron Mike pitching machines? Straight over the top. Now he's got a little bit of a high 3/4. It's a much healthier way to pitch, talking about the way tonight, than back in 2011. 2011, he was so far over the top, he actually had to slide his head over to the side. So he was not driving towards the plate. And he told me he did that because even back in 2011, actually made 2 starts in the World Series, he wasn't healthy. That was the way his body compensated for the pain that was in his shoulder. It only caused more problems, though, in that shoulder. And that was painful to watch him pitch back then. He was literally an accident, an injury waiting to happen, but that's what he had to do to compromise just to get by. We talked about the medical file on this guy. One of the rare pitchers, basically had the triple crown of surgeries for pitchers. Labrum, Tommy John surgery, and thoracic outlet syndrome surgery, the nerve in the neck. Well, that's highly unusual. Chris Carpenter, former teammate, went through all 3 of those surgeries. The last one certainly contributed to the end of his career, the TOS, thoracic outlet. A lot of hard work to get back on the mound. He had his Tommy John surgery at 21. Willie Peralta had his at 18.
Got him beat. Full count.
Certainly not a rarity in today's game. 2 starting pitchers, both Tommy John surgery patience. Key is, what does the future hold when you get a surgery that young, 18 and 21?
It's really amazing from the mental side of things, as Garcia was talking about. Before that TOS operation, he would have numbness in his fingertips of his throwing hand. Sometimes when he'd wake up, and even worse, sometimes when he was on the mound, he couldn't feel the baseball properly.
I can't even imagine that. A starting pitcher literally can't feel the baseball.
A leadoff walk. So the leadoff man reaching each of the first 4 innings. Ryan Braun coming up, 2 home runs shy of tying, now this man right here, Robin Yount. Most home runs in Brewers history. As we take a look at the Game Changer profile, brought to you by T-Mobile, official sponsor of Game Changers. A Hall of Famer, member of the 3,000 hit club, as well as you can see in his number, as you might imagine, retired here inside Miller Park.
Yount and Molitor almost go together, right?
What a combination.
I mean, Robin's not that old. We got a black and white of Robin Yount right there.
That's wrong. So here is Braun. Ground out to short his last time up. Breaks his bat. Sliding catch there. Good job by Reynolds.
That's a classic example of a quality first pitch fastball. Watch this sinker run in on him, almost like a cutter. Blew up his bat.
Quick right hand turn for Braun back to the dugout. That brings in Chris Davis. Plenty of first pitch strikes for Garcia. He walked 4 in his last start. He's walked 2 early on here tonight. Davis coming off a monster performance, a career best performance Thursday. 6 RBIs. He had a pair of 3-run homers. And he was talking with Joe Block, one of the fine radio broadcasters for the Brewers, and Joe asked him, how did you celebrate your career performance and a big win for the Brewers? And he said, well, I went home, I made myself a root beer float, and I played video games. So that's how it's done in the big leagues, kids. That's the recipe.
Not even a brat?
He's probably had enough of those.
Well, I mentioned Paul Molitor before. Molitor had the quietest approach I ever saw at the plate. Chris Davis, very quiet approach at the plate. Not a lot going on with his swing, especially the lower half.
Still is a statue. Swinging for the fences there, 1-2.
Now there's a lot going on above the belt on that swing. I think Garcia taking advantage of the aggressiveness. Watch the lower half, not much going on, but wow.
That's some torque.
Take inventory after that. Make sure you still have everything intact. Belt buckled, shoes tied. Okay, good to go.
Appealed out of first base, doesn't go 2-2.
I mean, he stands erect at the plate. The foot barely comes off the ground, and he still doesn't have a lot of bend below the waist when he hits. See if Garcia stays soft. Yes, he will.
The 2-2. And he gets him swinging. Third strikeout. Now, last year, Glover Teixeira took the champ to the limit, while Ovin St. Preux took only seconds to destroy a legend. Watch 2 of the sport's most ferocious light heavyweights collide on UFC Fight Night next, right here on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The changeup once again there, Tom?
You know, I was just thinking, too, I thought he'd stay soft because both Garcia and Yachty do a great job of reading swings. And you see the swings of Chris Davis. He's playing into the changeup with those swings.
And this is the last thing as a right-handed hitter you want to see from Garcia.
Nice circle change there. The ball diving. And the big swing from Davis. It's not a 2-strike swing.
Lucroy, the leadoff walk at first base. And Rogers ahead of the count, 2-0.
All right, so far my theory about Molina effect is certainly playing out in this game. Brewers 2 for 2 with nobody on base. 0 for 9 once they put a runner out there.
And they have had the leadoff man reach each of the first 4 innings. 2 walks, 2 singles. And he's behind 3-0. Rogers just recently recalled from AAA. And looks at a strike here. Rogers really had a nice fit for himself as a very effective pinch hitter off the bench for Craig Counsell, but then just lost playing time and was optioned down to AAA for his recent recall. Brewers minor league player of the year a few seasons ago. And the count suddenly full.
Fastball away, fastball in, and now he can do whatever he wants. And certainly the changeup has to be in the back of the mind of Rogers. Have to honor the sinker. Breaking ball away.
And he walks him. Second walk this inning. And the third so far today by Garcia. So a leadoff walk and a 2-out walk. A bit of a double whammy there for the lefty. That'll bring in Shane Peterson. Peterson, the go-ahead run.
He's really looked good, taking advantage of an opportunity after the trade of Carlos Gomez. This is a guy who went to college at Long Beach State as a pitcher. Actually was a regular starter for them his sophomore year. Here he is in the big leagues as a center fielder.
Now the Gomez gone. Peterson today making his 9th straight start in center field, a position that he hadn't played in the big leagues before, was in the corners. And he's hitting over 420 in that stretch. So Brewers have to be pretty pleased with what they have, at least right now, in Peterson.
He's got a very flat stroke, uses the whole field. This is a tough out for Garcia right here.
Gets a strike there. Peterson not a believer.
Wow, that's a huge call too right there. The ball strike call on 1-1 changes the count statistically more than any other pitch. This is the ball. This ball's up. You see Molina even reaching up for the pitch. Huge call right there in Garcia's favor.
And now the 1-2. This is really the first inning we have seen Garcia labor a whole lot. Over 20 pitches this inning. And 34 over his first 3. For someone known very much as a quick worker. Soft chopper right there to Wong. And the Brewers strand 2. Peterson an easy out. We're through 4 innings. Cardinals have the lead. And that rebuild in some ways came very early this season. Craig Counsell taking over for Ron Renicky, and Tom, just one of a number of managerial changes in the game this year.
Yeah, I can't say there's been a major change in any of the four places. It tells you how bad things were here in April when a manager gets fired that early in the season. Of course, it's kind of a carryover from their poor September of last year.
Reynolds goes after the first pitch, fouls it away.
I had an owner tell me long ago that one of the most critical things is don't lose your fan base before school lets out. The prime drawing dates are in the middle of the summer. And if you lose hope in April, your advance sales just crater.
Counsell, a local product. Whitefish Bay High School here in Milwaukee. Of course, played 6 seasons for the Brewers. A very familiar face, popular among the fan base.
You got to believe that maybe the guy in the other dugout made it easier for the Brewers to hire Craig Counsell without any managerial experience on any level. It was the case with Mike Matheny's hire in St. Louis.
As you go through all of baseball now, it seems like at least it feels this way, a quarter of managers have been hired without managerial experience. It's a lot is the point, and really Matheny was on the front wave of that.
No question. I think there's a unwritten sign, if you will, when they post for jobs. No experience necessary because of successes like Mike Matheny.
To center field, but an easy play there for Peterson. Out number 1. Now talking about Craig Counsell picking up his first win as the Brewers manager earlier this year, and it's not easy when you face that man. The MVP, the Cy Young winner from last year in the National League, Clayton Kershaw, a come-from-behind win for the Milwaukee Brewers. Carlos Gomez, a former teammate of Craig Counsell during his playing days, bringing in Adam Lind, and a lot of hugs and a lot of smiles for Counsell's first win as a major league manager, or any kind of manager for that matter. 2 outs, and right now let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt for a game break. Kevin, what's going on? All right, KB, thank you. Well, on cue, as we were talking about Grichuk earlier, Bryant doing some damage today. Very promising rookie class in the National League. The pitcher Garcia looks at strike 1.
Willie Peralta really doing a nice job adjusting second time around. Really going more to the slider early in counts. Much more than he did first time around. We've seen him vary the speed on that. It's actually, he's thrown it a little bit softer than he did last year. We've seen him get down to 79, that one at 81. Great feel for that pitch.
Here comes his 0-2. Peralta, a first pitch strike to each of the last 9 batters that he's faced. Has settled into a groove. And he gets his counterpart looking. That's 10 in a row set down by Willie Peralta. We're up to the bottom of the 5th. think might be coming out of the National League Central into the postseason. We take a look at the standings. The 70-win Cardinals. Then you got the two teams leading the wild card race, all in the Central.
That's why I really applaud what the Brewers have done, because to me the worst place to be in Major League Baseball is the middle of the road, when you're not either all in or rebuilding. And I think Cincinnati's kind of in that middle of the road. Milwaukee took a look at their roster, some of the contracts they had, and especially their division, and realized we need to get better over the next couple of years, not just next week or next month. We know the Cardinals, an extremely sustainable organization. I think the Pirates have built an impressive sustainable model, and the Cubs are just beginning what I think will be a long window for them with all their young players. This is a division you used to back your way in maybe with upper 80s wins. No longer. You got to build a 90 to 95 win team.
You think about the Cardinals the last couple of years, they've traded either a top prospect or a first-round draft pick, in both cases to the Indians, and it seems like the Cardinals just continue to have more first-round draft picks and top prospects coming up through the farm.
It's a factory.
Foul to make it 1-2.
Now look at a guy like Stephen Piscotty, the latest one, graduating from that farm system. Cardinals do a great job, not just in drafting players, but in developing players. Both of them really have to go hand in hand. They have incredible instructors in their system. Piscotty is a guy, when you look at his minor league numbers, you see almost as many walks as strikeouts. That's how the Cardinals play at the major league level. A team you have to defend straight up. You don't see a lot of shifts against their hitters, and they put the ball in play.
Awkward swing there to stay alive.
"13 homegrown players on the roster, most in baseball."
Now you saw Wong a moment ago, first-round draft pick out of Hawaii. And you talk to any manager or any general manager, and they'll tell you the same thing. You have to hit a home run with your first-round draft pick. That is not a pick you can afford to swing and miss on.
That can set an organization back if you do miss.
Gets him off balance. Boy, Herrera swinging for the fences there. That's outs number one. And we'll take a look back in our studio with Kevin. A game break, Kevin. Well, how about that? Good to know. Mariners have come from behind win last night, but the Rangers in extras taking care of things in Seattle today.
Now this last pitch on the strikeout, this is the difference in a healthy Garcia. The two-seam sinker. Watch the movement on this pitch. Just diving away from Herrera, and that's at 91. He couldn't do that last year. That pitch was 89 with not nearly that kind of movement. That's how you get hitters to bat 199.
And that's been the opposing average against Garcia over his first 9 starts. Look at his last start against the Rockies. He only went 5 innings, but only allowed 2 hits. 2 balls and a strike now to Perez. Now the Brewers had their best chance to get a run off of Garcia in the last inning of the 4th. They had 2 on, and both batters reached on ball 4. Did not get a hit off of them.
You want to explain that to me?
Hopefully that doesn't describe the fan base of a team 24 games outside of first place. But having fun with it. And you have to hope for the Brewers' sake. We talked about the trades. The big one, Carlos Gomez, Mike Fiers to the Astros, a team that has had an absolutely loaded farm system. You have to hope that in near years to come, things will be brighter here in Milwaukee. Get back to where they were not really all that long ago.
No, they took a shot both in 2008 and 2011 with big trades and paid off with postseason berths. And that's about rebuilding.
One out, nobody on. And a line drive right there to Wong. Two outs, nobody on. Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, and the U.S. Conference of Mayors are celebrating August as the inaugural Play Ball Month. More than 125 city mayors are hosting play ball events. To learn more, just go to playball.org and get out and play. Two outs, the base is clean for the pitcher, Peralta, who failed to drop down a sacrifice bunt in his last time up. Ended up striking out. Slicing the other way, and a foul ball.
Well, for an 081 hitter, he's rocking some serious batting gloves.
That's fair. It's a fine point. Even Ricky Henderson might take notice of those batting gloves. They are fluorescent just enough.
Yeah, I think he borrowed it from those people on the third base side wearing those. I'm going to do a disjustice here, but Power Ranger masks that they're wearing over there. I think he borrowed some of their equipment. Futuristic,
to say the least. Well, just fouled. Peralta looking for his first hit of the season. It's all in the gloves. 1-1.
It's actually got a pretty good swing for an 081 hitter.
Here comes the 2-1. In play. Dropping, and Grichuk comes on to make the catch. That almost fell into no man's land. And the scoreless streak continues for Cardinals pitching. Matt Carpenter, I'll see him when we get to the top of the sixth. The leadoff home run. Cardinals have a 2-0 lead. timeline, you go back to July 29th, and you want to find out who's driving the train for the Cardinals, a team that has been looking for offense this year. To look no further, Matt Carpenter, Randall Grichuk, Tom, these two have combined for some absolutely monster numbers.
That's one of the things I like about the Cardinals lineup. You know, there's so many different players who they can rely on to win games. It's not as if, you know, if the middle of the order goes cold, you're in a heap of trouble. Your leadoff hitter and your 5-hitter have been red hot. And once again, Peralta changing speeds on that slider and throwing it early in the count. That's been the difference. Nice adjustment.
He sat down his last 9 Cardinals hitters that he's faced, and a first pitch strike to the last 10. It's incredible to look at the Cardinals' success this year. 70 wins, by far the most in baseball. And yet, offensively, they are 8th in runs in the National League.
They actually have scored fewer runs than the Brewers. Now, if you want to talk about run prevention,
that's a different story.
The gap is about 178 runs between St. Louis and Milwaukee.
Well, the run differential this year for the Cardinals, as you might imagine, is off the charts good. It's the best in the National League, second best in baseball. Only the Blue Jays better by 2 runs in terms of the overall run differential. Entering today, nice snare, Herrera from his knees. Out number 1. 11 in a row set down by Peralta.
Nice jump by Herrera on this ball to his left. He's a guy who can play it actually all over the field. We've seen him at third base, second base, play the outfield a little bit. This player is becoming more and more valuable in the National League with 8-man bullpens.
Ball 1 to Colton Wong. A little bit of a skid right now. 3 for his last 25. Socks this to center. Peterson coasting on the track for out number 2. Two outs, nobody out for the shortstop, Johnny Peralta, who has absolutely owned Miller Park. Entering today, a lifetime .442 hitter here in this ballpark.
That's 20 games, too. I mean,
it's a
decent sized sample. That's just crazy numbers. But in the Peralta versus Peralta matchup, Willie's got ownership. 5 for 22.
And this one a late hop. Segura. And another 1, 2, 3 inning, 13 in a row sat down by Willie Peralta. With MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now. Well, here we go on to the bottom of the 6th inning. Garcia facing the top 3 in the order. It begins with the shortstop Segura. Hard hit, a skimmer to Wong. 1 pitch, 1 out, and with that, we'll check in with KB for a game break. Kevin? All right, Kevin, thank you. The Nationals, Tom, now trying to catch up with the Mets.
And that is a different Mets team because of the addition of Cespedes and actually additions of Uribe and Johnson, finally giving them a deeper lineup.
Here is Lucroy with 1 out. Lucroy bounced to a double play, also drew a walk. Now, this just has not been the type of follow-up season Lucroy was looking for after really a breakout year last year, an all-star for the first time, hitting just over 300, leading all of baseball in doubles, 4th in the MVP voting, missing some time this year, a broken big toe, which he suffered while catching, cost him some time. Peralta picks it up and a pick at first base. Nice leather work there by Reynolds. 2 outs. 2 up, 2 down for Braun. Now today's broadcast brought to you by Chevrolet, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. Happy to have you with us on what's turned out to be a pleasant night here from Miller Park in Milwaukee. Aaron Goldsmith, Tom Verducci, our entire Fox Sports 1 crew. Cardinals winning last night's game, the opening game of the series, 6-0. All 6 runs for the Cardinals last night coming in 1 inning. For the Brewers, this series marks the end of a season-long 11-game homestand. They're just 3-6 on the stand so far. Swept in 4 games by the Cubs, then took 3 out of 4 against the Padres. One and one.
This game really playing out the way we thought it might, with Garcia averaging under 14 pitches per inning, the lowest in baseball. And the Brewers, the most aggressive swinging team in baseball. He's making quick work with quality strikes early in counts. One thing to keep an eye on. That's for this season, and it's actually been his pattern throughout his career. Keep a close eye on him 3rd time around the lineup.
Facing Braun now for the 3rd time. You can see really labored in that 4th inning after barely being in double-digit pitch counts each of the first 3. Two outs, nobody on. I got the 2-2 to Braun. Line drive. Rutschik right there. And he squared it out. But another 1-2-3 inning spun by Garcia. Only 9 pitches, and he got some help from his defense. Reynolds at first base. A nice scoop on a throw by Peralta. We're through 6. Cardinals have the lead. Just underway, top of the 7th. First pitch, a strike to Hayward, leading things off for the Cardinals. Hayward 0 for 2 so far. Well, Tom, one of the big trades in the offseason, the Cardinals and the Braves. Shelby Miller, former first-round draft pick and top prospect for St. Louis. Member of the rotation, being a 1-for-1 swap with Hayward. And it kind of seems like the way the season has played out, it's been a really very good trade for both sides.
Fascinating trade. It's not often you see such talented young players traded straight up. If you want to go way back, you can talk about Pedro Martinez for Delino DeShields. Certainly turned out to be one-sided. In this case, I think it all hinges, at least in terms of value, on whether the Cardinals can re-sign Jason Hayward. And I have my doubts about that.
Pops this one up. All kinds of time for Herrera, out number 1.
And the reason I have my doubts is I think he's just going to break the bank. I mean, timing is everything. And for a guy who's never driven in 90 runs, the fact that he's still so young and his defensive metrics are just off the chart, those are the things that are valued in today's game. Maybe he didn't get paid on those 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. But youth, defense, is a great base runner, his ability to get on base itself. Now there's a price for all of that.
Really pretty amazing. Hayward only 25 years old, and this is his 6th full season in the majors.
And really, you can go back to the Braves' decision to carry him on their opening day roster. You know, a lot of talk this spring about why isn't Chris Bryant on the Cubs roster opening day. Well, the Braves lost a year of control on Jason Hayward by not keeping him in the minor leagues for at least 11-12 days to start that season. You can applaud them for saying they put the best team on the field for those 2 weeks. But then you lost them a year sooner than you would have.
And we all remember the dust storm that was created by the Cubs in spring training with all the Chris Bryant talk. Ball and 2 strikes to Grichuk. If you go back and look at the year Grichuk was drafted in 2009, he was actually taken 1 spot ahead of Mike Trout. Now the caveat there is they were both taken by the same team. Angels had back-to-back picks, but he was a spot ahead. Trout, who just turned 24 the other day and is the best player on the planet.
And I think the Angels did that in part to get a little more leverage on Mike Trout. It wasn't like they wanted Grichuk more than they wanted Trout.
First hit of the ball game for Grichuk. He lines it to left. Simply because of where they were drafted in the slots, that is, Tom?
Yeah, back to back. It really didn't matter which one they were taking, but a lot of people kind of shook their heads and said a team is taking 2 high school outfielders back to back in the first round. Pretty good call on each one.
Both turned out well, especially Trout. Grichuk just getting things going this year. Take a look at our Budweiser game summary. Both pitchers have really settled into a groove. Matt Carpenter, a leadoff home run in the first, and then Stephen Piscotty, a 2-out RBI single in the second. And that base hit for Grichuk snaps 14 in a row. Sat down by Peralta.
He's got to remember how to pitch out of the stretch. It's been a while. He's done a much better job holding runners. Only 2 stolen bases allowed, 5 tries this year. He's really done exceptional work changing the time he holds that set position. That was a long one. You vary those times, and it's a good idea just to freeze the runner. Also keep him guessing.
And before that base hit by Grichuk, the last hit for a Cardinals batter was that RBI single by Piscotty in the second inning. That's how long it's been. As we play with 1 out at the top of the 7th. Two balls and a strike to Molina.
It's the first time I saw him really come out of his delivery. I'm not sure if he slipped or stumbled. Something not quite right there. Looks like he's good to go.
Kind of an awkward finish.
He's got a unique gift, though, not a lot of pitchers have, and that's where he releases the baseball. Most pitchers will let the ball go around their head, about even with their head, maybe slightly forward. That was a balk right there.
That puts Grichuk in at second. That's his first balk of the season.
See if he flinches here. Yep, that's what he did before he stepped off. Just that little bit of movement. Stopped and started again. Just to finish the thought on his delivery, Peralta will get good extension where he's actually letting that ball go a little bit in front of him. Jacob deGrom has it on his fastball, especially important on the slider for Peralta. It's just a gift. It's hard to teach someone actually to do that. Naturally, the ball comes out of their hand a little bit later.
Full count to Molina. And what does that mean for a hitter's perspective?
Well, the hitter will tell you it's called late life. You know, the ball will move a little bit later. Now that we have things that can measure everything in baseball, StatCast, of course, only Michael Pineda and Colin McHugh of the Astros have a greater extension on the slider than Willie Peralta. So that's an outlier in terms of slider extension. No wonder that's his best pitch. They go to it right here. A little bit of indecision. Let's go over that again.
Grichuk at second base, one out. A single and a balk. Clubbed to center, but Peterson doesn't have to move hardly at all. For round number 2.
And he did go back to it, 3-2. And people might be saying, well, that's a curveball. That's not a slider. He's throwing that 79 to 82. Willie calls it a slider. Willie goes about 250. So if Willie calls it a slider, I'm calling it a slider. Here's the side view and see if you can see the release of the baseball. Now, he did come up as a guy who was a fastball curveball pitcher, but he said after the Tommy John surgery, it was easier for him to throw the slider. Ditched the curveball and has gone to the slider as the breaking pitch.
Strike one to Reynolds. A Brewer last season hit beneath 200 for Milwaukee. Did pound 22 homers though last season. Now in his 9th year, his first in St. Louis. Cardinals making a deal near the deadline to get Brandon Moss, a left-handed hitting first baseman.
You can see Mark checking out the end of the bat right there. That was a cue shot. He's been out in front on that slider all game. Just can't stay back on it.
He's behind 0-2.
Of course, the double in the second inning by Reynolds off one of those first pitch fastballs we saw early in the game from Peralta. Been a steady diet of sliders to Reynolds since.
Peralta last year leading the Brewers in wins and innings pitched in strikeouts. As Grichuk behind him at second. And the count tilts even, 2-2.
This is where you really watch your pitcher. Third start since coming off the DL. It's the second time in this inning he's come out of his delivery a little bit. More indecision between pitches. Starting to slow down a little bit. You know, Aaron, this is really what the Brewers season is about at this point. You know, Tyler Cravey, a youngster, was on the mound last night. They left him in to pitch through trouble in the 6th inning. Fifth inning, gave up 6 runs. Well, they've got 4 young pitchers in that rotation right now, all homegrown. Opportunity to pitch yourself out of trouble instead of looking over your shoulder at when help is going to come.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And it gets past Lucroy. Grichuk on to third. Beautiful Miller Park tonight, game 2. Cardinals and Brewers. Cardinals winning last night 6-0. Aaron Goldschmidt alongside Tom Verducci. Glad to have you with us. Some rain earlier during batting practice. The roof was closed and opened up a short while before first pitch. Cardinals, the best team in baseball, 70 wins. The Brewers right now last place of the Central, but trying to answer some questions before the season comes to a close as Reynolds takes ball 4 with 2 outs.
It was the right pitch, just didn't execute it. The 3-2 slider. Now let's see, after working real hard in this inning, his 7th inning of the game, you see the pitch count getting up there over 90 now. He can make one more pitch when he has to.
Here is Piscotty, who drove in a run in his first at bat. The bloop single into right. Now 23 pitches for Peralta in the 7th inning, most of any inning so far this evening. Now, Tom, you were talking about the rotation, the young rotation for the Brewers, and that's something that Craig Counsell really made it sound like was a priority, to find out what they have in those young starters before the season comes to an end.
Ryan Braun told me it's the best collection of young arms he's seen since he's been here.
That's saying something, isn't it?
Yeah, well, again, they've relied on a lot of trades, free agency, veteran pitchers, Greinke, Sabathia, Loesch, Garza,
sure,
Randy Wolf. They've spent some money because it's been a little bit dry, but they like the 4 young arms they have now, especially Taylor Youngman.
Opposite field. Can it drop in? It will. Well in front of Braun. Grichuk scores easily. And the Cardinals tack on another run. It's 3-0. Piscotty's 2nd RBI today.
I'm telling you, Aaron, they have a factory somewhere. Cranking out these prospects. They come up here, they look like they belong. Check out this swing here. That swing plays on any level. And once again, a Cardinals hitter using the entire field.
Now, both of his base hits have driven in runs. Both have been the opposite way.
And only now will the Brewers get their bullpen up. I really like that. You know, that Peralta, if he wanted to check over his shoulder, he could have seen there was no help coming. This inning was his. It's up to him to make a pitch to get himself out of the trouble. He was not able to do it, but he's better for the opportunity.
Cott's warming up at the bullpen now as Piscotty came into tonight 2 for his last 16. He's 2 for 3 here this evening. Two on, 2 out for Garcia. And with the way the Brewers, or pardon me, the way that the Cardinals have been pitching, if you are the Brewers, or any team for that matter, if you're down 3-0 in the 7th, it has to feel like you're down 10-0.
Well, the bullpen is just as good as their rotation. No cracks there.
This one the opposite way, and coming in, Davis, a sprawling catch. Garcia, Rom on a fine defensive play by Chris Davis. Well, the Cardinals strand 2, but they get a run. Davis hasn't had a whole lot of activity in left field tonight until right now. It's time to stretch. Cardinals have the lead. HD on more than 400 devices with MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Visit MLB.TV for details. It's out of the bottom of the 7th. First pitch on the way to Chris Davis. In play to Carpenter. 1 out. And with that, we'll step aside, check in with Kevin Burkhardt for a game break. KB? All right, thank you, Kevin. White Sox trying to put on a late surge in the second half. 1 pitch, 1 out. And here is Rogers. Now, we've talked at great length about the Cardinals pitching this year. Far and away the best in baseball. You look at the rotation, you look at the bullpen as well. And the amazing thing is that they are doing it all without their ace, without Adam Wainwright, who was lost early in the season in this very ballpark. Not good news for Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach for the Cardinals, when he tore his Achilles in April, and somehow the beat just goes on for Cardinals pitchers.
Well, they have a great philosophy here, one that began with Dave Duncan. Remember that injury? Happened right here early in the season. Whoops. You see him look behind him when those Achilles rupture like that. It's almost as if someone kicked you in the heel.
That's no fun to watch.
Talking about Dave Duncan, the predecessor here as a pitching coach. Everything is designed to get a ground ball. What pitch, especially earliest in the count, can get me the best chance of getting a ground ball?
In your conversations with pitching coach and managers around all the game, is that common for a philosophy to have one common goal for every pitcher, every level coming up through a farm system?
You know, I haven't seen it emphasized to that point. You know, there's some organizations that really push first pitch strikes, which I'm not a big believer of. You know, not that it's not that important, but I like what Tampa Bay does. They don't look at first pitch strikes. They look at a section of 3 pitches at a time. If you throw a first pitch strike and follow that with 2 balls, what good did it do you? Absolutely nothing. So it's more about what you do with the first 3 pitches. And for Pittsburgh and St. Louis, you see another walk there from Garcia. It's about throwing ground balls and having the defense properly placed to turn those balls into outs.
Now, it's not just Wainwright. You look on the offensive end, Jordan Walden too, but Matt Adams, John Jay dealing with a wrist, has been ineffective. Matt Holliday on the DL, then back again. Adams having surgery to the quad. Holliday did not, and there's hope that Holliday will be back during the final few weeks of the season and into a playoff push and then into the postseason. 1 out, 1 on, and strike 1 to Peterson. One thing that was very interesting hearing Mike Matheny talk about today, Adam Wainwright. When you think of a starting pitcher, you don't normally think of maybe a leader in the clubhouse, a guy who works every 5 days, but Wainwright, who does not travel with the team because of the injury, Matheny made it sound like he's hoping that maybe Wainwright gets on a couple of road trips down the final stretch of the season, because that's somebody who really impacts the overall feel of a clubhouse that's already, you have to imagine, one of the most confident in the game.
Great point. Yeah, he is a leader, no question about it. Of course, he has to come back to run his fantasy football league.
Oh, he's
too.
huge into that.
That's big too. But no, I mean, he's had an influence, especially on Michael Wacha. The way that Wacha now is throwing the sinker and the cutter, especially, become a different pitcher from a fastball changeup guy with the influence of Adam Wainwright. Carlos Martinez become much more reliant on a 2-seam fastball now. There they are.
And there's no doubt Wainwright, the leader in that rotation. Stories of him setting the wake-up call time during spring training for the other members of the rotation to go out and work out long before anyone else shows up at the complex in Florida. Garcia nearing 100 pitches activity inside the bullpen. It's now 2-2. Kevin Segrist warming up now. Cardinals have used him a lot. Still 2-2. Peterson, really a pretty incredible story when you look at the playing time that he's receiving now once Gomez was traded to the Astros. Peterson was claimed off of waivers by the Cubs, from the Cubs rather, 2 days before Christmas last year, after the Cubs claimed him just days before from Oakland. He's a former second-round draft pick by the Cardinals, then traded to the A's in the Matt Holliday deal back in '09. Never played in the big leagues for St. Louis.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, how was your time with the Cubs? Both days. He said, well, the good part is I was mentally prepared to be a Cub, obviously. Spring training's in Arizona. So when the Brewers picked me up, still Arizona spring training.
That's the real life way of thinking about it, isn't it?
You think about this Brewers lineup. Rogers, Peterson, Herrera, Perez, a 32nd round draft pick, and 3 other players who were picked up on waivers.
Wow.
It's your 5, 6, 7, 8.
Pitch 100 from Garcia.
And Peterson really sees the ball well. I've been impressed with every at bat, especially against a tough left-handed pitcher. Doesn't give an inch. It's me. I start the runner at first base here.
That's Rogers reached on ball 4. He stays put.
Little surprised only because of the ground ball potential. Extreme ground ball pitcher in Garcia.
I've seen 2 double plays turned behind him, each coming in the first 2 innings.
I mean, his ground ball percentage of ground ball into double plays 28% of the time, which is way above average of 11%. Playing the odds, you start the runner.
Strike 3 called. He gets him looking. Peterson thought he just took ball 4. 5th strikeout for Garcia.
Well, remember that 1-1 pitch in the 4th inning? Peterson thinks he's got another beef. He thinks this one's down and away. If you watch Molina's glove, you can see it come back into the zone. To me, Molina's telling you that ball was not a strike. And he's trying to make it one, and he did. Don't discount the value we talked about, his pitch calling ability of Yadi Molina. His ability to get balls called strikes. Tremendous. He's the best.
And we were talking earlier about how everything is getting measured in baseball now. And pitch framing, stealing strikes, that is something that young catchers are so aware of now.
They're definitely hyper aware of it. A lot of skill now being taught. I don't have tremendous confidence in the actual numbers. A lot of times you're giving very good pitchers credit to the catcher. Pitchers around the plate tend to get those called strikes. But it's definitely a skill.
2 outs for Herrera. Check swing strike. Now Garcia now at 103 pitches. Most in a start this season. In fact, most since last summer. The 2nd week of June.
Fully healthy.
What a difference that can make.
And Milwaukee 0 for 11 with runners on base.
Now, when we heard Garcia talk yesterday about all the injuries, the time of the disabled list, you could see just the relief that he had, that he was healthy and that he was able to compete again at this level, because he was very honest. He didn't know if that would happen again.
He was very honest talking with us. He actually said it's not something that he's talked about a lot. Went into great detail about everything that he's gone through and especially how well he's feeling now.
He's ahead of Herrera 0-2. Well, the lack of success today for the Brewers against Garcia, maybe not a huge surprise. Last in baseball against left-handed pitchers. Batting .221, 27th in runs versus southpaws. They've had a rough go of it today against Garcia, pitching very well. Wong raging, and he makes the catch. A runner stranded, and you can add another inning to the tally. 34 consecutive scoreless innings spun by Cardinals pitchers. Beautiful night from Milwaukee inside Miller Park. Game 2 of the series. Cardinals have the early lead. Glad you could join us this evening here on Fox Sports 1. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Tom Verducci. And Tom, this one's kind of shaping up like the other 70 wins for the Cardinals this year, getting just enough offense and fantastic starting pitching.
Well, especially lately with the pitching. We're getting close to 3 dozen donuts thrown by this Cardinal pitching staff when you talk about scoreless innings. And if Jaime Garcia is done at 106 pitches, then you get to see the Cardinal bullpen. And it doesn't get any easier there. It's gotten a lot better with the additions of Cishek and Broxton.
It's been fantastic this year. Meanwhile, Greg Counsell will dip into his bullpen. A new pitcher, it is Neil Kotz, taking over for Willie Peralta. And Peralta 2 runs over the first 2 innings, including that leadoff home run to begin the ball game off Matt Carpenter's bat. But boy, did he ever settle into a nice rhythm.
I thought he was very impressive, especially coming off a rocky start.
Carpenter looks at a first pitch strike.
And one thing, this Cardinal team, I mean, they do everything well, right? But one thing is, especially against right-handed pitching, you mentioned the Brewers, the trouble they have with left-handers. Cardinals just own right-handed starters. Only 16 starters right-handed have beaten the Cardinals this year in 59 tries.
My goodness.
16 and 42 coming into today. You can find a lot of impressive numbers with this St. Louis team.
And it doesn't end. Ball and 2 strike now from Kotz. Now in his 10th season in the big leagues. out of Belleville, Illinois. First season with Milwaukee. Spent some time with the White Sox, the Cubs, also the Rangers recently. Cox actually almost retired before the 2012 season when the Rangers ended up signing him. He's had Tommy John back in 09, 4 hip procedures. Did not play 2010, 2011 as well, so it's been a long journey back for Cox.
And he's figuring out the difficulty of trying to get Matt Carpenter out. I mean, with 2 strikes, you see how much he loves batting leadoff, at least this season. Just incredible, the difference in the numbers, especially the slugging percentage, way up there. I mean, trying to get Matt Carpenter, once you got 2 strikes on him, trying to get him out, I mean, it's like trying to cross Midtown Manhattan at 5 o'clock in your car. It's going to take a while.
Another foul ball. This is Carpenter's 9th game back as the Cardinals leadoff hitter. We talked about the injuries offensively to St. Louis earlier. And because of those injuries, Holiday especially, Adams as well, this lineup has really been in flux for much of the season for Mike Matheny. John Jay, the wrist. And he gets got looking. Not happy at all about it. Out number 1. Well, tomorrow, MLS Soccer Sunday, sponsored by Audi, returns with the New York Derby as the Red Bulls take on New York City FC at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. One out, nobody on for Wong. Flew out to the warning track in deep center, his last at bat. Lefties batting beneath 200 against Cox this year.
See Colton Wong, he gets that left foot. The toes are almost on the chalk line of the batter's box. And the leg kick, the knee actually almost looks like it crosses the airspace over the plate. To me, though, he's a much better hitter on the ball away than he is the ball in. Cox trying to go in right there. He's not your typical left-handed hitter. You know, we always hear about the ball down and in the left-handers. That's what they love. That's actually the one area you want to go to with Wong. The ball up, he absolutely crushes, and the ball away as well.
The 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk for Wong. A 1-out base runner for the Cardinals. That'll bring in Peralta. Peralta coming into today 16 home runs. Among major league shortstops, only Brandon Crawford, an all-star this year, having a breakout season, especially offensively. Only Crawford has more.
So he's got a good shot at a 6th 20 home run season playing shortstop. There's only been 4 shortstops in baseball history with more 20 home run seasons. Cal Ripken, Miguel Tejada, Alex Rodriguez, and Ernie Banks.
It's a pretty short list. Goes around to make it 0-2.
There's trouble with that cutter from Kotz. Peralta 1 for 7 with 5 punch outs against the left-hander. See LaCroix saying if the hitter will give away anything where he's looking. Brian McCann is another catcher. It's almost like trying to read a poker face. They'll read the hitter, see the body language, they move their feet.
Stays at 0-2. Since Mike Matheny took over the Cardinals back in 2012, St. Louis has been absolutely dominant over Milwaukee, 42-21. Most wins for Matheny and the Cardinals against any team since he took over as manager.
Going in with the fastball here. To me, that was a setup pitch. The 0-2 fastball. Wanted to get it in, just missed badly, but gotta believe he goes back to that cutter, which he can throw at both sides of the plate. Try to backdoor it.
Keeping an eye on Colton Wong, who reached on a 4-pitch walk.
Well, tried the fastball in, the slider away. Another check at the hitter. What's he looking for? Fastball away. Nope. Let's go cutter away. Cutter in. Try to get in on his hands.
Too far in, a full count.
Good battle right here. I would assume Wong will be running here. Maybe Kotz throws over again to see if they're giving away anything.
There he goes. Rogers over to take a look, and a foul ball.
A little bit surprised he didn't throw over. A lot of times you may catch an anxious runner there in a full count. It's a good time to try to pick with your A move on a 3-2 pitch.
Pitch number 8 coming up.
I go back to the cutter in. That's his best pitch. Fastball away. We asked Craig Counsell about who's running the running game of the Brewers in terms of step-offs and throw-overs. Those are called by Jerry Narron, his bench coach. Fastball away.
Wong takes off. Thumped to center field. Peterson has the space to make the catch. Gave it a ride, but out number 2. That brings in Hayward. Hayward hitless tonight, but batting over .350 since the All-Star break. Hits in 9 of his last 10.
That was the B move right there. Neil Kotz. Just say, I still know you're there. Oftentimes a pitcher will come right back with the A move. A little quicker.
Wong takes off. Throw down at second, and Wong is in there safely. Now, this is something Mike Matheny's talked about recently, wanting to see his base runners a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and I love running with 2 outs on the first pitch. A lot of times you'll see a runner try to pick a pitch, but for me, with 2 outs, you want to give the entire at-bat to your hitter with the runner in scoring position. Do want to nitpick about the Cardinals, and there's very few to nitpick about. Base running is something that they can improve on.
For Wong, that's his first steal in nearly 20 games. Keeping an eye on Wong. If you look at the leaderboard, the offensive leaderboard in the National League, you will not find a Cardinals hitter in the top 10 in any of the obvious categories: average, homers, RBIs, on base, slugging. Matt Carpenter, 29 doubles, second in the National League, trailing only Frazier in Cincinnati. One big bound to Perez. Over to first base. A runner left stranded, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cardinals with 70 wins entering tonight, looking for number 71. Beautiful night here from inside Miller Park. Glad you could join us. 3-0 Cardinals as we make our way to the bottom of the 8th. And manager Mike Matheny makes his way to the bullpen as he calls on Kevin Segrist here to take over the spot of Jaime Garcia. Tom Garcia, fantastic 7 scoreless. Now it's up to Segrist, who Cardinals fans have seen a lot this year.
Yeah, and you see the numbers there. He has worked a lot, no question about that. The 55 appearances, mid-90s fastball, excellent changeup.
Perez, the third baseman, batting 8th, leading things off in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Brewers. Best bullpen in baseball, and it's not really close. Quickly 0-2.
You saw the number about the ERA of the bullpen. You're thinking, well, why did they go out and they get Jonathan Broxton and Steve Cishek, right? You had a good bullpen anyway. Well, because Segras, Manus, Rosenthal have been worked so much, they play all these close games, win or lose. Cardinals felt like they needed some protection, or else these guys are going to wear out. It's interesting when you look at the pitcher usage. Mike Matheny has used more relief pitchers without rest than any manager this year. So you did have warning signs.
And he gets Perez swinging and coming up empty. Nice start for Segrist.
And that was a nasty pitch. His third pitch, a slider. Talking, there you go, right there. Most relief appearances in baseball without rest. Back him up 2, maybe 3 days in a row. Detroit Tigers with all their bullpen issues. And Tampa Bay, they just love to pull their starters early in games.
You're not kidding.
And that's showing up with Tampa Bay. I think their bullpen is leaking some oil. Cardinals protecting against that possibility with the addition of 2 veteran relievers.
There's Logan Schaefer pinch hitting to the pitcher's spot. Schaefer 2 for 12 as a pinch hitter. Tom, do you get the sense that the Cardinals will try to use roster expansion the final month of the season as a way to help to save some innings going into the playoffs?
No question. Now listen, they're not able, as great as they've been, to run away and hide from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right.
They have a bunch of games, I think 9 more or 10 more remaining with Pittsburgh. So no one's handing them the division just yet. But I think they will be in a position that, yes, with the roster expansion, especially I think with Carlos Martinez, to buy him some relief in September. His first full season as a member of the starting rotation. They began with some concerns about Michael Wacha's innings and whether they should limit those. And I think he's been so good, I don't see the concern anymore on their end. It's Carlos Martinez on the right.
Two and 2 to Schaefer. There you see Michael Wacha. Having a fantastic season. Pitched through some rain in his last start in Cincinnati and pitched very well. Full count to Schaefer. And he lost it with a 1 out. Schaefer reaching first base. 1 out, 1 on. Back to the top of the order.
You want to see the nicest lineup card in baseball?
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
How about that? Calligraphy courtesy of Jerry Narron, the bench coach. And if you look down at the bottom on the reserves, they don't have vowels. You got to get Vanna to buy a vowel to fill them out. Very particular way he fills out that lineup card. That's a work of art.
Well, if you follow the Brewers on Twitter, they post a picture of the lineup, it seems like every day, and it's worth a follow just to see that. It's the best looking lineup card in the game. On to first, not in time. Segura legs it out. 2 outs. Schaefer cut down at second.
It's a difficult turn here on the low feed. Really not much of a chance for Rom to turn it. Did well to even make it close. With Aaron, you can see how Gene Segura has had some difficulties offensively this year. He thinks it's a rule. You have to swing at the first pitch. Leadoff hitter with a .282 on base percentage. Just really not allowing himself to get into good counts.
Well, Segura entered today 7 for his last 62. Does have a hit tonight, though.
He has put the ball in play today. Last night was a difficult night for Gene Segura.
And you know, Tom, that first pitch going after it on what turns out to be the fielder's choice, he's seen only 7 pitches in this game tonight.
Last night he saw 20 in 4 at bats. He swung at 14 of them and never put the ball in play.
When you look for this Brewers team and how they will progress moving forward, as we've talked about rebuilding this year, Segura is somebody that was showing so much promise a couple of years ago, first-time All-Star. It seems like that's a vital piece of the puzzle for Craig Counsell.
Well, you think about some of the regression they've seen offensively. Gene Segura, the guy hitting right now, Jonathan Lucroy, Scooter Gennett, the everyday second baseman, all regressing offensively this year.
Gennett really opened up some eyes a couple of years ago. Did not get the start tonight at second base because of Garcia being a left-handed pitcher. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th inning. Zegras, the 1-2. Cut on and miss. Rips right through it. Mid-90s heat. Lucroy down on strikes and a man left for the Brewers. We go to the 9th. Ninth inning, 3-0 St. Louis, and we take a look at our play of the game, fueled by Gatorade, and it came right away. First batter of the night, leadoff home run, the 4th this season for Matt Carpenter. Tom,
full count fastball, and you almost had to think right away, Aaron, the way the Cardinals are pitching, is that enough? The first batter of the game. So far, it's held up.
For Carpenter, that was his 6th home run now in 9 games since returning to the leadoff spot. New pitcher up on the mound. It is Corey Knebel, 23 years old, out of Austin, Texas. He will pitch the 9th for the Brewers.
Really good arm. He's a guy who's really hides the ball well. It's tough to pick it up. Overhand delivery. Fastball, curveball.
Knebel, a former first-round draft pick, 39th overall back in 2013. Pitched in his hometown of Austin, Texas. He was the closer for the Longhorns during his college days. One thing that will be interesting to track in years to come as we take a look at Randall Grichuk, already 14 home runs this season. It has really been a long time since the Cardinals have had a 30 home run hitter. You have to go back to Carlos Beltran, 32 home runs in 2012.
Wow.
In fact, if you look at since the start of the early 2000s, almost all the 30 home run seasons is from a guy wearing number 5 now with the Angels. And Grichuk's got that kind of pop. Figure that could be in his future if he doesn't have too many of those. Second time he's been caught looking. I mentioned it earlier, Grichuk averaging a strikeout every 3 at-bats.
That's just pure heat on the black. Not a lot of movement, but well located with high velocity. It's kind of an old school repertoire he has. The 12-6 curveball you saw right there, and the good old-fashioned four-seamer. He's not trying to sink and cut it.
That's as straightforward as they come. Molina, a weak wave to make it 1-1.
Tough to pick up. Hides the ball well, and you saw how much break to get that strange swing from Molina.
97 that time, but missing to make it 2-1.
Yeah, he looked like he's sitting on another breaking ball the way he took that fastball.
Some more heat. Molina ahead.
He's a master at doing that. Manny Ramirez, nobody was better than Manny. Just to sit on a pitch and wait until you get it. Well, he's seen 3 straight heaters since that swing and miss at the curveball. Got to go to business here. Hit anything.
Payoff pitch. In play to the shortstop. Segura right there for out number 2. Now the closer for the Cardinals, flamethrower Trevor Rosenthal, an all-star this year, getting loose.
Cishek is up, of course. The Cardinals should happen to score a run, because we all know that the save statistic drives managing late in the game, right?
Just ask Mike Matheny.
It's a save, yeah, then you have to give the cookie to your closer. You know, years and years ago, there was a closer for the Yankees named Steve Farr. And I asked him about that. I said, come on, why is it so important just on this stat? He said, listen, the 1-run saves are so hard to get, so hard to work through. And he was the one who called them cookies. He said, you need a cookie once in a while. If it's 3 runs and there's a save on the line, I better be in the game. And I think that's universal among closers.
Two outs, nobody on, and Reynolds behind the count, 1-2.
Here comes the hook.
Stays high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now, Knebel really has a hobby that fans here in Milwaukee can relate to more than likely. He actually brews beer at his home in Austin. It's a hobby that he picked up this past offseason. He spent a lot of time with former Rangers teammate Ross Detweiler. So he should fit in pretty nicely here as the count goes full.
So you're saying he was born to be a Brewer?
He was born to be a Brewer, Tom. That's exactly what I'm saying. And he's moved around a little bit.
Does he have a name for this craft beer of his? Check it out.
Evil Knievel?
I like it.
Knebel?
I think I like it. I'll have to try it first.
Right down the middle, gets him looking, 94. Side retired in order. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Brewers. would possibly at all dictate this ninth inning, this would be the time to mute your television. As Tom, the scoreless inning streak for the Cardinals is at 35 innings. This is one of the best, needless to say, in recent years. You go back to 1912. This is incredible. A chance for the Cardinals' third consecutive shutout win.
Yeah, that's an even 3 dozen donuts. It's getting to 36 with one more. Pretty good shot at it with the ball in this guy's hands, Trevor Rosenthal.
Peter Borges, the speedster, coming over in the freeze deal from Anaheim. He's in center. Taking over for Grichuk there for defense here in the ninth inning. Hayward in towards the corner and a foul ball.
The one thing I've seen out of Ryan Braun the last 2-3 years, he's always a good opposite field hitter. He's become much more of an opposite field hitter. His pull power is disappearing. He's a guy who used to have twice as many hits to the pull side as to the opposite field side, and that has flipped in the last few years.
And he has been able to somehow time up that 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Rosenthal. You saw his career number 6 for 9 with a homer. He's behind here 0-2.
And one thing you can see is Jason Hayward in right field. There's a patch in right field that's worn out because most right fielders stand there. See that light little area to his right? He's playing him, Braun, like a left-handed pull hitter. And you see Borges shaded over that way as well.
Rips right through it that time, but with a changeup, and it's out number 1.
It was filthy. Gear up for upper 90s, and you get the 89 changeup with run. No chance.
You can see Rosenthal has been nearly perfect. Only 2 blown saves this year, both coming against the Pirates. Here is Chris Davis with the 1 out.
To me, one big change he made was to pitch out of the stretch position. No more windup. And I think he's been known for having some, let's call them interesting saves over the last few years. His command has been much better, simplifying everything out of the stretch.
0-2. Three pitches, all strikes. High 90s heat, back-to-back strikeouts.
Watch this. Upstairs, if it's above your hands, you have no shot. One thing that he does, too, that I like, don't see a lot of pitchers do, he uses the rubber really well. He has his spikes on the rubber. It's called hooking the rubber with the spikes. Not really in front of it, but half of the foot on the rubber. Going way back, Sandy Koufax used to do that. See that? He's kind of straddling the rubber, not putting his foot in front of it the way a lot of pitchers do. You get a little more leverage off the rubber.
Last hope for the Brewers right here. Jason Rogers, 1 ball and 1 strike. Now down to his final strike. And you can see there 99 miles an hour what that can do to a hitter. Even at this level. Now the Cardinal faithful here inside Miller Park, although you wouldn't guess it by these pictures, on their feet. Only Mark Melancon has more saves in the National League. Got him chasing after it, and that'll be it. Almost nothing but strikes for Rosenthal to pick up the save. 3rd consecutive.